fry, not to fry. To fry is a meal best served never.
Welcome back, moviegoers, to another edition of Going to the Movies. Today, it's a really fun one. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the past several years. I, Tonya. And what better timing as the Winter Olympics in Beijing have just started. And our first stop is the Atlanta Ice Forum, which was the practice facility that Tonya used in the movie, also where she trained as a kid. And I wanted to show you first, though, before we go in and ice skate, how economical they were with the locations in this movie, because there's a part where she explains how her mom made her wear her figure skating outfit to school for pictures. And this is the shot of the front of the school that they use, somewhere kind of right there. But this is the Atlanta Ice Forum. This is the outside of it. So they used that for the school exteriors, and then they went in and filmed everything they needed to film on the inside.
There is some magic to filming at actual locations. There's something kind of fun about it, I guess. So if given the opportunity to shoot on a soundstage or an actual location, I think I would choose an actual location because there's some magic to it.
That is PAUL WALTER HAUSER. He plays my favorite character in the movie I, Tonya, Sean Eckhart, and he's going to join us to share some of his memories and experiences while shooting at several of the locations today, including this one. The one I remember you the most in is the one with the yellow beams. I think it was an old Thrasher's practice skating rink, maybe. But I think it's where we first see you, actually, in the movie.
Yeah, you're right. That skating rink was incredibly cold. And I'm not I've only been to a couple hockey games in my life, so I don't really know skate rinks. So when I walked in, it was incredibly cold and I wasn't dressed appropriately. And we had set up craft service and the video village and all the chairs and makeup stuff outside of the rink and kept that kind of open. And then there was a snack bar and a concession stand that was, of the time, old Coke, insignias and logos. And when we shot inside, we kind of wanted to get going and kind of get in and out because it was so frigid. But I do recall that location is where I first improvised and made up some of my own dialogue and ad-libbed a little bit. And I was kind of afraid to do it because Craig Gillespie, the director, he and I had never worked together. And, I know everybody's trying to get the shots and get out because they're freezing. So me improvising was a little scary, where I didn't know if I was going to get my wrist slapped or not, or my tongue slapped. But I improvised that line where I say, to fry is a dish best served never. I made that up and Craig really liked it and laughed and said, do it again, say something else. And that was a big moment for me, that ice rink, because that's where I found the confidence to take more ownership on the character and not just feel like I was a lucky visitor on the set, which is how I feel half the time I shoot stuff.
Right here, I forget the name of this neighborhood, but I'll put it down below. Yeah, this is Lavona's house, Tonya Harding's mother in the movie. They definitely made it look a lot grungier in the movie. It's actually a really nice neighborhood. As you can see, there's a family that lives here. The father, who I'm assuming is the father, said he has seen Tonya before, and he said it was cool if I took some pictures. So let's head to the next spot. I've been singing the praises of this movie for 5 years. When it first came out, I remember seeing it at the Belcourt, my favorite movie theater in the whole world, in Nashville, Tennessee. I saw it with a packed house, and it was amazing. So funny how they take everyone's story and just basically believe everyone. But we now have arrived at Rockbridge Forest Preserve and Wildlife Refuge. If you don't remember, there were a few scenes that were filmed in some wooded areas. That was all back here, just over the hump, a little bit of a ways back there, but you would be able to see it if I was just up there. So I came in, and I'm not gonna go any farther than this because I do see someone next to that red building way in the distance, but just around that curve behind the road in the trees is where they did the mudding scene. I know that part. The rest would be very hard to nail down the exact locations, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here before I get in trouble. Well guys, I was so excited to find this location. The first time we came and visited these spots last year, I was not able to find the diner. And I was really wanting to recreate that shot of Margot Robbie leaning up against the back of the building. So I finally found it, and look, they tore it down, and it couldn't have been that long ago. I think if I had found it last year, then I would have been able to see the building before it was torn down. But she's out here smoking in the back, somewhere around this area. She comes out of the back door. Her old coach comes up. She's parked right there on that corner. You see the shot that I just showed you. And she convinces Tonya to come back, because this is when they first sort of like phased the Winter and Summer Olympics. And then here's one shot right about here where we see her leaning up against the wall. And you can see those buildings in the background. You see that slanted roof right there. And so I guess I'll have to go back and see if you can see the tile at all on the floor. But I think when she's talking with her mom here in the diner, I want to say it was up here in the front, kind of. Now, there was like a front patio to this diner, so I think this was outside, at least the front. All right guys, I'm trying to be discreet because I'm in a neighborhood, but it took me forever to find this location. I'll explain while I'm showing some shots with some voiceover, but we have found Tonya and Jeff's house from the movie where they lived together, and you know, their whole toxic relationship happened. So that is right here at 696. Finding the spot was so hard. There were no extras used here, so there weren't any hints from casting calls, and there weren't any press photos or anything. But I could see the house number 696 in the movie, but I could not find anything else until I advanced searched on Twitter. I found an old tweet saying, "I, Tonya, is filming in my neighborhood again tonight," from the account of a blogger. So I found their blog, and I found an old entry saying the filmmakers asked them if they could use their house. They refused, but they said they ended up using a house on the same street. So that person's blog was listed as a business somewhere online. I can't remember, and the address was their house. So that's how I got the street name, and that's how we found the house. Almost all of the competition scenes were filmed in an arena in Macon, Georgia, which we'll head to later. This scene, where Tonya becomes the first woman to land a triple axel in competition, was filmed right here at Gas South Arena in Duluth, about 2 miles from the ice rink we visited earlier. They do not have public ice skating here, so we got tickets to see the Atlanta Gladiators play, and we snuck a GoPro in to get our footage. I was also lucky they were playing Virginia's hometown Norfolk Admirals, so we did have some interest in this particular matchup. With everything going on though, there was no way to match up any angles, but I did point out the ceiling. I wanted to show you guys that so you can compare it with the movie shot. Also, this is one of the big reasons I love hunting filming locations, because they give you a reason to do something you wouldn't otherwise do, but we always have a fun time doing these little side things, you know, like going to see a hockey match as a way to get into the location. Another big scene was filmed here, by the way, but it was done behind the building, so we went back the next morning. So there's a guard stand over here that I got past, which there was an open gate over to the right. Now I gotta get over there. That's where the scene of the incident started. So I gotta make sure I don't look at anyone in the eye. That way they can't identify me. I just gotta look like I know what I'm doing, just like the guys in the movie. New Orleans calls itself Hollywood of the South. I think Wilmington probably calls itself that. You know, Atlanta is probably the Hollywood of the South, especially right now.
Oh, yeah.
How is Atlanta how does it add up in comparison to those other cities?
Atlanta's great. I've shot 4 things there. I shot a short film called Sheep, which you can find on YouTube if you look up Sheep and my name. It's incredibly funny. I shot Cobra Kai there. I shot Richard Jewell and I, Tonya. So I have gotten to explore that city quite a bit, and I really enjoy it. The food is great. There's a lot of just cultural identification, and I've gone to some sporting events. I saw a Falcons game, and I went to some wrestling events. It's a really cool city, and when I book a job that's in Atlanta, I do get excited to go back.
Billy Bob's New Secrets Pub is where Jeff Gillooly and Sean Eckhart would hang out. It was the strip club in the movie. In real life, it's just a bar. I love this little dive bar in Tucker, Georgia. Both times we've gone, the owner has been super nice. She'll talk to you about anything, including the filming of the movie. A few of the regulars were unaware that it was used for I, Tonya, where it was mainly the club where Jeff Gillooly and Sean Eckhart would hang out. But it was also used later in the film as a regular bar where customers and Tanya's mom watched Tonya skate on an old TV. Well, Gwinnett Place Mall is the site of the scenes where she's practicing ice skating in the mall. She did that in real life at a mall in Oregon. That was all filmed here at Gwinnett Place Mall, right outside of Atlanta. Probably more famously known as the mall from Stranger Things. But right now you can't get inside. Everything's closed off. There's a couple of anchor stores open. There's this Mega Mart. This part's not open, but downstairs there is it's a Korean grocery store, because there's a huge Korean population here in Gwinnett. And then there's a Macy's down there that's open until 9, but all the stuff in between and the parts where they filmed that scene, that is all closed to the public right now.
The Golden Buddha, we didn't write in a fake Chinese restaurant. We just said the name of the actual Chinese restaurant in Atlanta. And recently I was there shooting Cobra Kai, and I was in a hotel, and I was starving on a Sunday watching football in my room, in my bed. And I ordered from the Golden Buddha, and it was a really funny moment where I'm like, oh my God, it's the thing from I, Tonya. I didn't even realize that was the real name of the restaurant. And I ordered a very unhealthy amount of Chinese food for myself. But that was fun, shooting in the real restaurant. It was completely open at night, and it was, closed off to the general public, but open to us. And we had that little scene where Sebastian and I kind of looked at it like, this is our Pacino De Niro scene from the movie Heat. This is our kind of big moment together.
I noticed that when I was looking up the spots that all the competition scenes were filmed, or it said they were filmed at the same arena. So I went back and watched it, and it was the same. I think it's in Macon, Georgia. It stands in for an arena in Portland, Minneapolis, some arena in France. And if you look at the ceiling, you'll notice it's the same one every time. How do you think of that as an actor? Are you like, this isn't going to work? I mean, people are going to notice this, but I didn't notice it at all.
Well, so I didn't think about that so much as like, the other rink was like a practice rink. It was very small, the one in Atlanta. And then they brought us down to Macon. We stayed at a hotel there for the night to shoot like 2 days back to back. And that's where I met my good buddy, Caitlin Carver, who played Nancy Kerrigan. And that's where we shot my scene with the nachos. I'm eating nachos and just kind of clapping, watching Margot skate. And I remember watching her curse out the judges in that arena, in that rink. And watching her, it almost took me out of it. She was so entertaining and so magnetic that I kind of broke character while watching, while doing the scene. I wasn't even in character. I was just kind of watching Margot kill it take after take after take. And the audience was laughing and clapping after each take. And it was a really fun day or two.
All right, so we just got done skating. They are cleaning up the ice with the Zamboni. And I wanted to point out a couple of things that I can't actually match up. There's no electronics allowed on the ice, though you saw some of the incognito shots I got up there. But I just wanted to point out, that's the corner when Tonya keeps hanging up on Jeff Gillooly. She says F you after like the third or fourth call. So he drives all the way here. Him and Sean Eckhart, they walk out right up there, Paul Walter Hauser and Sebastian Stan. And he says, no, F you. Tonya was over in this corner here. And you see the ceiling, it's very distinct. I can't believe I didn't notice this when watching the movie, but the Albertville competition, the Portland, Maine competition, I think Portland, Oregon, and several others, they use this exact same arena right here in Macon, Georgia. All right, guys, that's everything I could find for I, Tonya. Let me know what you thought, and huge thank you to Paul Walter Hauser for joining my little YouTube channel to talk about some of the locations, and also give me feedback on that. Let me know what you think about interviews in the videos. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to get cast members all the time. I'll definitely try to tweet them and see what I can do, but I think a more realistic thing is to have location scouts and maybe some people that worked on the crew and just get some firsthand stories of these spots, because they're always more interesting than IMDb fun facts. So let me know what you think. Watch more videos, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.